Hey, welcome back to another episode for Life or Living Well. My name is Richard. Before I dive into the topic that I have for this week, I do like to say if you liked our weekly newsletter, if you also like the article that we push out every week, please sign up to the email newsletter and you will be the first one of the people that have already signed up to receive weekly article every time we publish an article on our blog. The community website is www.lifeforlivingwell.com, and if you'd like to know one or two things about this community, you will find it out on our website. You can also follow our last 3 weeks podcast through that website as well, so it's aggregated into that website section. If you just click the podcast, and then you'll be able to follow it through if you mix any of this podcast. So let's dive in without taking much of your time. The topic I'm looking at this week is what I call, what have I learned from traveling alone? I have to say this topic is so dear to me that it took me days doing research about it, using my own personal experience, listening to other people's personal experience, and gather all this information together and able to present it in a way that have meaningful impact on the people that will listen to it, and can also use it to motivate themselves in taking the same step. So once again, the title that I picked this week is what I call, what I have learned from traveling alone. As we normally open any of these message is to start with individual quotation and then build around it. So this week I'm taking from two distinct individuals and I'm building the message around them. The first person is Eugene Fodor. He's a classical American vocalist. So he put it this way: you don't have to be rich to travel well. I've met people during my traveling that they think that I must be loaded at the time that I travel for me to travel far away and have the kind of lifestyle that they think that I have. And this is one of the myths that make a lot of people not to travel. And there's some other kind of people that they can only travel if they have an accommodation with their family member where they can stay. If they cannot secure that, they are not going to travel to anywhere. So another second person that I pulled their quote as an open statement with the podcast is Saint Augustine. He put it this way: the world is a book, and those who do not travel read only one page. So make sure that your page is not just the introduction of the book that you carry that say words, but you never really experience each of the content in that page. So the notion of travel alone, the idea of traveling alone, when you think about it, in actual sense, it can be really, really stressful. Not only stressful, it can be damn frightening for many people due to various reasons. One of the reasons is what Eugene Fodor mentioned, is people perceive that being travel, it means you have to be rich. As a result, people didn't do it. And it could also be the reason that people are exposed to 24 hours news, which can also do one thing to you, create a lot of stress and anxiety for you. Or you consume so much news about the world that dampen your optimism and hope. So it is also goes against the natural behavior or expectation that people feel more comfortable and secure when surrounded by like-minded individuals. You may be influenced by the group of people that you are associated with. If they travel a lot and they encourage you to do the same, you might be able to do it. And also, there are some people travel and they took with them the comfort of their home country to the another country that they explore, and they mix so much by have the ability to explore the different culture, different people, and different experience. So what about the issue of cost and funding? So I'm hoping that I will be able to cover part of it, because this topic is so big that I might actually needed to break it down to different phases. Sometimes a karmic event may occur in life that shift our limited beliefs and our timid way of living. What kind of those things? Whether the loss of family member, or breaking down of relationship, or loss of relationship, or even some extent love of a friend or job, can be a catalyst for some people to change their behavior for 360 degrees. And this is kind of thing that we've seen that change people's life tremendously. But it's not only just change their life, they embrace it and they live more intentional, and which also results to fulfilling life. And this experience alone can open not only their mind, can open their life to a deepest connection beyond their imagination. So it's a challenge for you and myself to always wait for a life-altering event before deciding to live intentional. So we do not need to wait for that. We need to live intentionally. We need to embrace challenge. We need to embrace travel experience. So, warning. Before traveling alone, and it wasn't a journey that easy for me. I'm sharing my own personal experience here, because those who know me in my old previous life and those who know me in another life where I was traveling alone for a number of years, they only attribute certain things to me that, oh, you are a philosopher, you are confident, you are brave. But I wasn't like that before. I was timid, I was afraid, I was complaining, I was worried about the money all the time. And my life was so predictable and also limited at the same time. And I constantly worried about not having enough money to travel. Fear being alone in a foreign country, and hadn't even explored the region I live in. So I had erroneous belief about solo travel for many years. Then one day, a 12 years relationship came to an end, and with it, the identity I built around it disappeared. So after some time, spend money, the loss, and ready to travel around the world, take some adventures. So it wasn't something that just happened. It was the book that make a catalyst change within my mindset. I took a book of Brian Travel Around the World. It was funny, it was dark, it was comic, it was hilarious. As I was reading the book, I was saying to myself, I can do this. I can do this. Because sometimes when you don't hear what other people have done, in our mind, in our head, we have an idea or image how that person lived their life. But when that person give us a opportunity to see the snapshot how they live their life, where they live, we also have opportunity to change everything around in a way that beyond understanding. And what the book did for me is to give me an insight of a brand life. How he doesn't have a lot, he lost a lot, but he was moving on by focusing on things that he always afraid to do, but he was bold enough, somewhat courage to do it. So I felt inspired to do the same. Traveling became my liberation from hopelessness and distrust in love. My first step was to confront my own limitations regarding solo travel. It wasn't easy, but it was necessary. I began to go to the cinema by myself, and I find myself really enjoy it. I began to call and book a table for restaurants in the evening, especially on Friday. It's so crowded sometimes, and I really enjoy myself. I realized that once I can enjoy it by myself, it's easy to enjoy it with other people without depending on that people so much that when that person is not there, my whole life is collapsed. So I enjoy my own company. I enjoy the adventure. I enjoy the attention. And I enjoy the thing that was coming for me. So preparing for solo travel. So what do we need to bear in mind if you really want to take the step of travel alone by yourself? So traveling alone for the first time can be exciting, but it is normal to feel some fear or anxiety. So don't feel because you feel overwhelmed about it means that it's a sign for you not to do it. You can prepare for your trip by planning ahead, choosing a suitable destination, even ensuring you have travel insurance. You hear the story of people that they involve in accident or caught or illness, and the family started raising money on GoFundMe. You do not want that. You don't want your own adventure make you reckless. This message is not to be reckless. This message is to take an adventure with a calculated risk by do the right basic thing but essential. So here are some actions personally I took that helped me reduce fear and anxiety both in short and long time. So what are those things? Maybe it could help you. Planning, number one, is to look where will I like to go, how long I'm going to go for, what did I intend to see there, what is my expectation of the place. Sometimes I have zero expectation, I just want to explore it. But it's always so good to know the country you are going, the language they speak, and the rules and the regulation they have in place regarding the tourist or what you can do in the hotel, what you can do in the public places. So this should be part of your planning. If you have a lifestyle that's very lousy, that's very disrespectful, and you go to a country that's very organized, very religious, very strict, you are inviting for a problem. If you don't try to conform with their rules. So part of the planning that I do is choose a destination. And choosing a destination also involves doing certain things. In my own case, I was looking for a place where there's a marathon, so I will book for marathon, and I will create some few days after the marathon to explore the place. So consider what you want from your trip and pick a solo friendly location. You don't have to run marathon. You could say you want to know about to make a particular jam or fruit, or you want to pick up a language that you've been learned and you want to practice with the real people in the country. So you have to create your own why so that you're able to develop the right feelings that you need to take a step. And part of the planning is to plan ahead. So how do you do that? Once you decide where you want to go, why you're going there, you also need to reserve accommodation or activities in advance. When I was much more younger, so this particular site was so useful for me, and it's called Hostel What. And at the time, I could, depends on my budget, I could decide to stay in hotel or I can decide to stay in hostel. So if I don't have enough or big budget and I really want to travel, I can sacrifice the comfort of where I sleep in order to see the museum, to explore the places, to travel by the road or travel by the sea in the country. So I was able to be flexible, because when you travel by yourself and you are young, you also come with advantage. Some of the places that I stayed when I was young, I cannot say myself do that right now. It will be so uncomfortable with the lifestyle that I've created after that. So you pre-book the transportation from the airport to your hostel or hotel. And number 3, part of your plan is to have a backup plan. So what did I mean by this? Be prepared for unexpected situations. For example, if your accommodation isn't confirmed upon arrival, be ready to pay for another room while resolving this issue and requesting for a refund on the platform where you book it. This happened to me on my way to Bucharest. And I reached into my hotel. It showed that I have booked the hotel according to the confirmation email in my card. The money is already took, but getting to the hotel have no way to confirm. They can't see it on their system. It was 1 a.m. in the morning, and I have to book for the same room again before a few days later, back to my own country, then start launching requests for refund because I didn't able to use it. So the next one is safety. After planning, consider the safety. Stay aware. This is also good to find out about the country that you're going through. You can do that with online, even from the news. So be mindful of scams and keep your valuables safe, even when you are there. So some hotels or hostels offer secure locker for rent. So what other thing that I focus on as part of safety is keep your phone charged. Yes, you don't want too much interaction when you're on holiday with friends and family that you left behind, but do not forget that you also have a responsibility to let people know where you are. We live in a world that you cannot make yourself too more vulnerable, extreme vulnerable, that the people you just disappear like a wind. You do not want that. So charge your phone, allow you to call for help if you need it. Stay in touch with families and friends. It depends on the frequency. In my own case, I reach out to one friend, one family member every 48 hours. Just a chat. I hope you guys fine. I'm doing okay. This is what I'm going to do today, and that's it. And the next one on my list is what I call getting around, even when you arrive to the country that you wish to travel to. Number one, learn basic local phrases. It's so cool when you get to the restaurant and you can say it in Japanese or Spanish or French to thank them for the service that you receive from them. Even you meet other people that stay in the same hotel in the escalator, it's really powerful when you can say hi. So learn basic local phrases, simple words like please, thank you, and enhance your interaction with locals. Even when I travel to a country that English is not their official language, it's always amazing where you find one or two or three people out of number of people you bump to that they can also converse with you in English. So if you are still not sure about places to see when you get there, you can easily see a tourist group that you can join and they can take you around. I saw this thing in Poland. That I went to the city in the evening and I saw a group of tourists in a group. And I just joined one of the group and the guy was showing us about the history of the place in Krakow. And the next one I put as part of getting around is visit local market. Sometimes you don't know as a tourist how much you lose out when you just stick into the tourist section of the city. You're bound to pay premium for everything. If you're kind of person that you're on the street and restrict budget and you really want to get a bottle of water, I can also pick it in the local supermarket. I have an idea how the local shops. You can even pick some fruit from there and put it in your fridge in your hotel. And the next one on my list is what I call insurance. And this is also important that many young people sometimes overlook things like this. And it's only when you have problem you value all these things. And part of the way of protecting your wealth is to have something like this in place. Because it's easy for you to pay £100 for your insurance than to pay £100,000 for emergency health treatment. So this provide protection in case of unexpected situation, whether you missed your flight or you lost your luggage or your phone. And lastly, enjoy the experience. How do you enjoy the experience? Be patient with yourself. You might not feel fully ready for your trip, but fixing your fear will make the experience worthwhile. So in the next podcast and on our article weekly, I will explore what it takes to travel alone in major countries around the world. For now, I will end with an old Chinese proverb. It's like this: a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. This well-known saying, often attributed to Chinese philosopher Lao Tzu, emphasizes that even the most ambitious goals start with a small initial actions. So I hope maybe your action today is to take a map or on the Google, randomly choose a country and read about biography of the country. Maybe it can catch your interest. And I hope this message helps someone. Until we meet again, please stay safe and have a wonderful week. Ciao.